All right, so I'm gonna show this little issue with the Serato that's kind of bugging me, right? So I have a cue point set up, which is just a snare. So when you're beat juggling, to beat juggle, you'll start it at your starting point, which is 12 o'clock, right? And all you really have to do to kind of tell how far back you got to spin back, all you have to do is just bring it back to 12 o'clock. So if I wanted to repeat on both turntables, I would keep back spinning to 12 o'clock. So, you know, that's simple stuff. Everybody knows that, okay? But how this kind of gets messed up is this. If I set another cue point after my snare, right? So say if I want to set a cue point on the kick drum after my snare. So just watch the progress indicator. You see that? So this is the kick drum that I'm talking about. If the snare is at 12 o'clock, my kick drum is at about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whatever, 4 or 5 o'clock. So snare, kick. All right. Now watch this. I'm gonna set a cue point for my kick. All right, so I have a cue point set for my kick now. So I'm gonna go back to the snare. Now watch what happens. So if I play from the snare, the progress indicator is going to jump back so that by the time that the kick comes in, the kick will also be 12 o'clock. So it's no longer going to be here at about 4 or 5 o'clock. This is going to jump back. So by the time that it gets to the kick, it'll also be at 12 o'clock. Just watch. So I'm at the snare right now. Watch the progress indicator. You see that? You see that? Now, in normal circumstances, I would expect if I backspin this 12 o'clock to be at the snare, right? But it's not at the snare. Now, it's at the kick. So that makes beat juggling like very, very difficult because now I really don't know where I need to spin back to get back to my snare. So I'm gonna show you that again. I'm at the snare. See how it jumps back? So before remember the kick, I put the kick cue point was like around here. But if you listen, you'll see that now the kick is going to fall back on 12 o'clock, and it's only doing that because the progress indicator kind of jumps back so that, you know, it can be there. So it makes it difficult to juggle because if I wanted to keep juggling at this snare, I really don't know how far to backspin because the progress indicator is all screwed up. So 12 o'clock is no longer the snare, it's the kick, and if I keep going back, it'll jump back again, and now the next 12 o'clock will be my snare again. It's really confusing, and I hate it, and I just want it to work just like how it would work if I had vinyl records or whatever. So if this was like vinyl records, the cue points won't matter. I can start off at 12 o'clock can be my cue point, and then once I let go from there, this thing is still just gonna rotate relative to that position. It's not gonna do any jumping back and stuff. So that's what I'm complaining about.